property over the winter because their whole concept, their whole belief, because this is what it is for, like you said, and way back when, 20 years ago, is that you have thing is that your leverage is only wherever the market is, how the property has either sat on the market or it has not. Either it's priced right, it's priced wrong. I mean, so there's a lot of things there.
Well, give me more details on
Sure.
that. I mean, what is the average? When does the pendulum swing? In other words, common sense.
Seller.
Yeah, common sense tells me that if houses are selling in 24 hours, okay, that's obviously a seller's market at that point in time if it's going that quick. But if they're staying and the average is now 60 days or 100 or more days, doesn't that kind of start switching over?
It can. Seller's market and a buyer's market, in my opinion, has changed versus what it was. And what I on the market, and it's on a PLN, private listing network. In other words, you and Joey can't see it. I can because I'm an agent. Other agents can because they are agents. But the general consumer cannot, right? Unless they have the database or have the login aspect. So when it comes to this is that if I'm selling Joey's house and it's on PLN, then he has all the leverage and he's the seller. Why? I could leave that thing on PLN for a month. But if you come in as a buyer, Charlie,
yeah,
and I'm your agent, let's say vice versa, right? And I say, listen, Charlie, I know you love this property, right? But the thing is, it's on PLN. That means that the seller has all the leverage. So,
I need to understand that more.
Sure.
Why do they have all the
So
leverage?
the reason being is because it's not on the general market yet. So in other words, it's a pocket listing. It means,
and I'm not trying to be argumentative, but how I see that is that if I'm reducing the amount of people that can buy the property, and I think I am by doing something like that, how does that benefit me as a seller? That's the part that I'm really confused on.
Okay, I'm selling your house, okay? And Joey wants to buy the house. And Joey says, I'll give you $400 for it. And you say, well, my property is $425. And me as your agent tell you, listen, this offer is $400. We were going to list it at $425. It's not in the general public yet. In other words, it's a pocket listing and there's no inventory out there. And Joey really wants this house. Charlie, I would say, listen, and this is how I would tell my client. I'd say, listen, we appreciate your offer. However, at this time, we're only taking full price offers or over ask.
Okay.
How would you like to proceed? The reason I do that is because you have the leverage because this guy wants something. It's a supply and demand, right? So Joey really wants this house. And in order to get this house, he's going to have to pay what the seller wants, or at least something where the seller is more comfortable. So maybe your number is $415 and we have it potentially marketed at $425 and Joey wants to pay $400. Well, if he wants the property, he's going to have to come up in value. So you as the seller have leverage. Does that make sense?
A little bit, but again,
you have something I want.
Right.
I can't get it unless I pay you the number that you want, or at least something closer to it.
I get that, but I'm still, everybody wants something. I want to sell my house. Mm-hmm. Joey wants to buy my house.
Correct.
All right. And yeah, it's on the private listing, but if I don't think that I could get a better offer from someone else, But
that's why you have an agent that knows what the hell they're doing.
Right.
That's the difference.
Most agents don't know what they're doing.
They do not.
I'm sorry.
And it is what it is. I feel bad for the consumer out there.
Yeah.
Before I did this job, I wouldn't have had a clue of how to do this either. But now that I'm an expert at it and I love doing what I do and I'm very passionate about what I do, I will not let people get taken advantage of. And if they want to get taken advantage of, that's their own decision. But I work for people that want to have an experienced agent and who are going to fight for them, period. That's another reason why I don't do dual agency. Dual agency is a way where you're working both sides.
Yeah.
Well, how am I going to fight for you? How am I going to fight for Joey? I'm not. I'm going to say, Joey, how much you want to pay? I want to pay $400, Steve. Great. Hey, Charlie, he's offering 400. How would you like to proceed? Well, I want 425. Great. How do you want me to react to him? So I have to go back and forth. I'm a mediator. I can't tell you what to do. Here's my advice, Charlie. Oh, no, can't tell you that. Hey, Joey, here's my advice. Oh, nope, I can't tell you that. So basically, I'm a pawn in the middle or a mediator in the middle that is worthless, and there's no point to my job.
So, Joey, just to give you a heads up, I kind of unloaded on Steve a little bit this morning while we were coming here, and I had a buyer, a client of mine, that bought a house, and they bought it through dual agency, and they were asking me about, you know, what they should negotiate for and what they should ask for. And I was trying to explain to them about this leverage stuff, you know, that comes in here that I just don't know about. And, you know, I'm like, well, tell me about your real estate agent. Do you trust them? Do you, you know, how knowledgeable? Well, they also are the listing agent. I'm like, oh, that's dual agency. I said, you know, first of all, it's only legal in, I don't know, 4 or 5 states. I really don't know how many, but it's not many, you know, that you can actually do stuff like that. But how does that, I mean, well, I don't know. Does that even affect you? Because you're kind of before an agreement is signed, right, Joe?
Yeah, I generally am. I have had plenty of people come to me after an agreement is signed, though. I'm doing one right now after the agreement was signed because the other lender went ghost mode on them. Anywho, how does it affect me when there's a dual agency? It doesn't. I just sit there feeling awful for the buyer because they don't understand what they did to themselves by allowing themselves to get in that situation. I also immediately am biased against the agent who's allowing it, if I'm being honest, right?
Please.
So there's
Makes
that.
sense to
That's
me.
what
Yeah.
makes you so valuable to me, you know?
Yeah, I just it drives me nuts because I can tell who's out for the money and who's out for the client, like very quickly.
Yeah, but I think all three of us realize that when you're out for the client, the money comes.
The money comes. Absolutely,
You
1000%. That's what those other people don't understand. That's why they're going to accept the dual agency. They're like, well, I'm going to get this money now because I don't know if I'm going to get it later. You know?
It's
Do you know,
The
what,
dreams.
do you know what I do with the clients? So I'm not a discount broker, so I'm not discounting my numbers. That period. That's I don't really care what anyone thinks. Anyway, I work my butt off. I go above and beyond. I care deeply, and I do what I got to do to get the deal done the right way. And something you just brought up, which is if you work really hard, the money will come. The whole thing with dual agency is that you have to work both sides, right? Okay, well, let's be fair here. At that point, your value, in my opinion, is now lower.
But yeah, you get twice as much money.
No. Well,
What do you mean,
can.
no?
Well, it depends on what your agreement is with the seller.
Oh.
My seller is very simple. I have a situation right now where I took on a listing, and the client's like, hey, and what's interesting is he bought that property through me 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And it was a situation where it was a dual agency where I was representing the seller. He came along and he said, I don't have a realtor. I said, listen, I can help you, but understand I can't give you advice, and I can't give my client advice. I talked to the client. The client's like, all right, well, I'll accept it, but I'm only giving you 4.5% instead of 5%.
Not everybody's
And
that
I'm like,
savvy to realize
what?
that.
No, I'm not. I don't want 4.5%. I want, you were giving me 2.5%. This was a special situation, but like, I'm sorry, he was giving me 3.5%. So I'm like, just give me 3.5%. I don't care.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to make sure I got the deal done. And that's who I am. Now, typical agents won't do that because they look at it as a cash cow aspect.
Yeah.
That's not how we play the game. That's how we should play the game. But there are certain aspects out there that different agents have different rules. That's up to them. That's fine. I do it differently. So the point to that is Joey saying, you know, as soon as I get this deal and knowing it's a dual agency, I'm very biased on the agent right away, or at least have an opinion. I don't disagree with him.
Me neither.
And I don't think he's wrong for feeling that way.
Yeah.
And even if he did or didn't, it doesn't matter. It's his opinion. Same thing with you as the inspector. Oh, wait, you're the inspector, you're the agent, and you're representing the seller? Oh, I don't know. Then this poor client, right? So immediately that's the biased opinion you have, the biased opinion that Joey has, and no offense to both of you. But I take that as I see where you're coming from.
You know what, though? I could see the value of dual agency the way you just did it, all right? Because me as a seller, I'm going to be prepared to pay, I don't know, 5-6%, whatever total. And then both broker agencies on each side split all that money up, right? But if
Not if it's a duel.
Oh, no, but if it's a duel, the ones that I've seen, and maybe I missed it, they take the whole thing. All right, one agent keeps both ends. They keep that whole 5-6%. But if you're going to tell me,
no, the brokerage does.
Yeah,
and they get whatever that percentage is if they get both sides. Now, if they get both sides and they have a different number, so like when I list a property, it's 3.5%. I don't care who you are. I don't care if your property is $20,000 or $4 million. It's 3.5% period, because that's me and that's how much work I do. Okay, but some people, what they'll say is, well, if I do dual agencies, so I do both sides, I make 4.5%. I make 4%, whatever.
yeah, that's where I'm going.
Right. So the point is that goes to that brokerage.
Right.
So yeah, it's like double dipping.
Yeah, you get twice as much money, or whatever that percentage is. You make more money, but you do less work. You know,
Yeah.
Well, it's less of a service for the client. This is my beef.
Agreed.
All right.
Both clients.
But now I could see the value in it if you're saying, no. You know, we're not going to go to 4.5. We're not going to go to 5.5. You're going to save that extra 1-2%. All right. I could see as a seller, I could see value with it. Okay, I'm going to have to do work on my own. I understand that you're not going to be able to coach me in these situations anymore. I get that. But yet, if it's $1 million home and you're going to be saving me, what is 1% of that?
40 grand is 5%, 6%, something like that.
That's a lot of money.
Yes,
you know?
it is.
So if you're going to save me, 5-10 grand or whatever that number comes out to, all right, maybe that's worth it. And even as a buyer, if I know that all of a sudden I have that much more leverage,
it's a lot more than that.
It is.
Yeah, it's a lot more. That 5% is 50 grand.
It's a lot of money.
That's how great I am at math. I couldn't even do 20.
I don't know.
I kept my mouth shut, dog. It's cool. Your job is to negotiate.
Yeah, we should have asked the mortgage guy, the money man, right? He'd be good on top of that stuff.
That
Sorry,
was
Joe.
awesome.
And
That's how much I don't care, though. That's my point. It's like what's
But
best
this is
for the
Field
clients.
of Dreams. Right. This is
Yeah.
Field of Dreams.
Yeah.
I love to quote my movies,
Yeah, it's a great
if
movie.
you build it, they will come. All right. It's that simple. If you build something solid, the money will come, But we still see time and time again. And every time that we get rid of one bad actor, there seems to be one or two more that come and take their place.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And this, Joey, I kind of want your input on this. I know that there's lazy mortgage guys. I know that there's people that promise the world. Go ahead.
I got to bring this up really quick.
Yeah.
So do you know what 67% is? I learned this the other day.
A little over 2/3.
No. 67% in the real estate world. 67%. Well, yeah, but here's
More than
why.
that.
Here's what's interesting about that. 67% of all realtors in Chicago, in Illinois,
Yeah.
okay, within the real estate world, okay, have done 0 transactions this entire year.
Well, that's
0.
been my mark.
I just threw up in my mouth.
What's that?
You just
I just threw up in my mouth.
Oh, isn't that not absurd? So, with that being said, Joey, think about that. 0%. It's 67% of all the agents out there. If there's 10 million agents, 67% have not done one transaction the entire year. And
Yeah.
why are you in my business?
Why
It's
making
true.
my
Are
argument
you a
from our
realtor?
conversation earlier?
Yeah.
Even getting to the top 5% or 1%, you only have to really do 5 or 6 transactions in order to get up to those numbers. And then people are like, I'm the greatest
ridiculous.
real estate agent in the world. And I'm looking, I'm like, you did 5 transactions. You helped 5 families. And I get it. They might have been expensive homes. All right.
Mm-hmm.
But it's about helping people, not getting the money.
Yeah, but the thing is too, as I pointed this out before, if you choose to work with who you work with.
Right.
I don't work with everyone now. I am now not at the position where I don't have to do as much or work with as many people, but I'm in a position where I've chosen that my sanity, my time, my effort, my passion is worth what it's worth to me. Now, does that mean that I'm the top dog in the country or in the state or whatever? No, it's not. And you know what? I'm okay with that because I don't need to feel that way to feel like I do a great job for my clients. I do what I do. I work with who I work with. I'm fortunate to work with who chooses to work with me. And then more importantly is I don't want to work with everyone because not everyone is my client. And I learned that from my coach and from multiple people that do business and are smart about it and make a difference in what we do. You know, there are people in this industry that should not be in this industry. And there's people in this industry that are workhorses and they're awesome and you've got to respect their drive, but at the same time, maybe they're not the easiest people to work with, or maybe they're not the nicest, or maybe they're hard people that, you know, are a little bit more stringent on how they do things.
And this is how I want to focus the conversation, I guess, is, you know, as me as a seller or buyer, how do I weed those people out? I mean, there's so many of them. The odds are good that I'm going to get one if I just, you know, throw a dart at the wall.
Sure, but I could say the same thing about an inspector. Oh,
absolutely there is, and I can answer that.
It says Wilmette inspector. It says Glencoe inspector. It says Chicago inspector. It says whatever. Well, there's reviews online for a reason. There's also the fact of word of mouth. I'm 100% referral. I'm not a business ad person. Now, there was a couple times where I was on this show, and I fortunately got phone calls from people who listen to your show all the time, evidently. And it was pretty wild. And I gave them advice, and they did their own thing, and that's fine, and that's great. But at least I could give them that advice.
That's it.
But the thing is like, if you go off of business now, but however, I do like certain ways that people do promote themselves. Like, I love the fact of wrapping, you know, the Cybertruck. I just hope it doesn't start on fire for joy. But like, I do.
You're talking to a firefighter. Keep that in mind.
I know that. That's why it's very ironic. So it's a joke. Anyway, but I think that's awesome, right? I think the way that you promote yourself different ways, I think that's great. And clearly it's worked for Joey. He doesn't just get agents like me reaching out to him for clients, right? He doesn't just get actual clients reaching out to him from word of mouth of somebody else that had a great transaction with him. You know, he does things differently. You do things differently. I do things differently.
And I get all that. And I'm not trying to dismiss any of that, you know, but I'm looking at it from the other person's point of view. I am a buyer. Mm-hmm. I know nothing. Or I'm a seller. I know nothing. All I know is I need a mortgage. All right. I'm going to start calling people and find out. And let's say, Joey, please. What are the hard questions?
Oh, sorry.
You know, what are the hard questions that you really want to pick somebody out there and you want to challenge them and say, okay, this person's for me or this person's not for me? What should I ask a mortgage person to find out if they're legitimate or not?
Oh, my gosh.
Are we asking Joey or are we asking me?
I'm going to ask both of you. I'm going to ask you about real estate agents. You can ask me about home
inspectors. I think we should do the opposite. I think I should say why I would ask Joey or why I would work with Joey and why he'd work with me.
All right.
Joey, why don't you go first? I'm curious.
The reasons why I would work with a real estate agent, because, again, a lot of my business is self-sourced. One is I see their communication with the client, right? Or the client is talking to me, because a lot of these times I am working with agents I've never worked with before. The client is always keeping me informed of a process. I am reaching out to the agent, and sometimes that agent talks to me, sometimes they don't. If they're talking to me, I'm a fan. If they're not talking to me or not listening to the things that I'm saying about the client situation, that could be a problem, because I know what I can close. If you're giving me something I can't close, that's going to be a problem, right? Because I try to be upfront about those things. I think we beat this horse to death, but it still doesn't change. Communication. My communication with the agent matters. If you are adding anxiety to my life, I am not going to want to work with you in the future. I'll say that for sure.
But right? The client gets harmed because of that too.
What? The lack of communication?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, that goes another reason why Joey wouldn't work with me, because of the fact that I don't communicate effectively.
I love it.
I
love it.
I am multilingual. All
I
right. I
just-
speak
I just-
English and sarcasm. So I understand exactly what you're saying. All right.
I will say
And
I
pig
don't like
Latin.
over communication. I don't like over communication because it gets way too redundant. But good communication is, I mean, mortgages and real estate transactions are not freaking hard. They're really not. Don't ask me the same question 1,000 times if I've already answered it 999 times.
Unless you're a separate client, because they're going to keep asking you the same questions you already answered.
There you go. All right.
My wife, she can't stand listening to me on the phone. She's like, why did he ask the question 4 times? I'm like, because that's how it works, dear. They don't understand it, so they keep asking, or they need to get clarification. That's
It's
how it
funny
works.
you say that.
And-
My
oh
family,
my God, I can never do that job.
my family actually, everybody can recite what I tell the clients word for word. They've all heard me say it so many times.
Seriously, the thing is,
"Hello,
Joey's
this
kids
is
could
Charlie
be
from
perfect. Like the Halloween costume would be Joey. The Halloween costume for me would be, or for my wife would be me, and the Halloween costume for your kids would be you. So the thing is like, I mean, it's
hilarious.
It goes with it. So going off of what Joey was saying, so obviously we'll get off topic.
Yeah.
The reason I would choose a lender, okay, it's not because the reasons other than the other reasons besides what Joey mentioned. It's also about word of mouth. It's also about the character.
And,
In
and
other
word
words,
of mouth is reputation.
Yes,
That's all it is.
Right.
You're not going to refer somebody that you don't trust.
right. And then it's also the communication, the connection I have with that lender. It's also about what they provide. It's also about who they are. It's also about, I mean, there's a lot of different things. The reason I choose certain lenders and I will not give other ones the time of day is because I either connect with them and establish rapport with them and get to know them as a person, not because of what they do, but also as a person. So it makes a huge difference to me. I didn't start working with you, Charlie, for instance, because of the fact that I got to do this radio show and I and then Patrick.
That's not a
introduced me
good
to you.
reason.
No, that's what I'm saying though.
Yeah.
I started working with you because I started looking at your reviews.
That's
I
the good
started
reason.
realizing what you do. I understood the differences that you do versus other inspectors out there, right?
And that's why I kind of refer Joey a lot, because same thing. It's always who does the best for my clients, all right? And same thing. And I'll let you in on a secret. I get a lot of clients that buy a house and the deal gets killed, but because they don't want to buy it, and I put them right in touch with you.
Yes.
Because you're not going to tell people what they want to hear.
Nope.
You're not going to tell people what they're going to want to hear so that they sign with you. All right, you're going to tell them the truth, and you're going to be a straight shooter, whether they like it or not. And Joey, you do the same. And everything is knowledge. All right, that's where I really find the true power in the professionals is the amount of knowledge that they bring to the table. And Joey, when I have a client that's having problems with a VA loan or any type of loan, quite frankly, I feel very confident, even though I might be ignorant to answer their questions, but I feel very confident saying, Joey will help you. Drop my name. He won't charge you. He'll just answer your question, but you'll do the right thing. And please tell me, I know you've done it in the past, but I just want to hear you say, yep.
Yes, sir.
Say yo.
He did the silent thing just
I did my pregnant pause. There we go.
Pregnant pause.
And yeah, that freaked me out a little bit there.
I
So
love it.
Well, I mean, it's the same thing with me as the fact of like you've introduced me to like 6 different people, and those 4 people chose to do their own thing. They appreciated the advice and so on, and they did their
Which
own
is
thing.
fine.
And I've also had 2 people, one of them I'm under the contract right now with, that chose that my information, my advice, it was enough for her to say, well, when I am looking to buy again, I'd like to use you if you're okay with that. I'm like, absolutely. And now I have the opportunity to work with her, and she sees the value. So, and sure enough, when we did the inspection, guess who we used? The same person that she used in the first place as a pre-inspection.
because I've already built that rapport of trust
100%.
and empathy.
Yeah, that's huge.
It is huge.
So,
and that's
yeah.
where you two come into play, and Patrick as well. He's not with us, but still, you know, I still got to throw a plug out to my favorite attorney in the world, you know, Patrick Loftus and that, but I don't know. It's just frustrating, you know. And then the same thing. I just see so many home inspectors coming and going in this business, and I see them harming, you know, so many buyers that it's just frustrating. And it's like, how do you get that word out there? That and don't get me wrong, we're not the only good company out there. There's other people that do a great job. All right. But there's a lot of people that do bad jobs, you know, that come in here. And I think that's in all our professions.
For sure.
You know,
being in real estate for 18 years and really focusing and working with the inspectors for a long time as well, there's all kinds of different aspects you get to it. And, you know, I think some are more thorough than others. I think, you know, for instance, this is one of the biggest pet peeves I have. So I have a listing, right? An inspector comes in to see the property, to inspect the property, and I'm like, oh, they're not checking the walls to see if there's insulation behind them or if there's leaks behind the walls, you know, and so on. And I'm like, wait, they don't use an infrared gun. They don't use something to see, you know, that's absolutely horrifying to me as the seller's agent, because I feel so bad for that agent, or excuse me, that buyer, because I'm like, you know, I know it's fine, but do they? You know what I mean? So that's a simple one that I'm just like, wow, you know? Yeah. And, you know, to each their own. Everyone does their job the way they do it. And obviously, you know, it makes sense.
I'll tell you, in our field, the biggest thing that the schools teach, and maybe Joey, you could tell me what they teach in the mortgage world, and you could tell me in the real estate broker license rules, but in here they go, do not ever exceed the standards of practice. This is a visual inspection only. You're not supposed to be using any tools. You do that, you can open yourself up for lawsuits. And I'm just like, what? You know?
Yeah, I was told that once, like, you guys aren't supposed to open the utility box,
electrical panel, the front. Yeah.
And they're like, oh, you're not supposed to do that at all. Pretty sure every single time that's imperative, because you have to make sure there's no double taps. You have to make sure that the electrical is right. You have to make sure that, you know, whatever. And the thing is, I think if you don't do certain things for clients, for buyers, you're doing a disservice to them, because they're paying for a peace of mind. You know, whether it's a sewer scope, whether it's a regular inspection, whether it's oh my God, I don't know, mold remediation. I mean, all these different things like testing and things like that. You know, it makes a huge difference.
It does make a huge difference.
You know, and as a, again, experienced agent and someone who actually knows how to do things and knows what their client should technically ask for, or at least here are the opportunities, here's the options to have peace of mind. I don't think you need these things, but I do think you need these things. Do you want to do them? You know, it's important.
Joey, what do you got in mortgage brokers schools? I mean, is there something that they keep teaching people that is like, I wish you would just do it differently?
Oh my gosh.
That's a really big question.
It is a big question.
It is. I mean, in mortgage brokers.
Good luck with that, Joey.
Hey.
Get your seatbelt, start taking notes.
Seriously.
Oh my gosh.
Strap in.
No, but because you're coming next. I'm going to ask you the same thing. You know, but Joey, I mean, is there anything that comes to mind right away? And if it doesn't, that's fine. Just say it doesn't, you know.
The things that they keep teaching, is that what you're asking?
Yeah, like I mentioned in home inspector school, you know, most of the schools tell the new home inspectors that, you know, everything is about sticking to the standards. You know, anytime you do more, you're going to get sued and you're going to lose your house. And they scare the bejesus out of them. And then what happens is, everybody wants to do less for their clients instead of doing more for their clients. And I'm just the opposite. I'm like, no. The more you do, because you're not going to catch everything. Nobody does. The more you do, the more your clients are going to be thankful for. All right. And I was just curious if on both of you, if that's something that they constantly teach in your line of work. And if you got nothing, you got nothing.
I mean, there's compliance things, but like it's just there's so much crap that you don't use, and it becomes annoying. And if people get trapped by what they think they know, that they're never going to grow. Like The things that you're told about, like here, I'll tell you the first thing that comes to mind about the VA loan is that you are told that 41% debt ratio is the debt ratio you're allowed to go to, and that is the most incredibly untrue thing in the world. I've said this a million times. I've closed a guy at 76% back end debt ratio on VA because it's a residual income loan. So if you depend on what you're learning in school, you're done. You are done.
Oh my God!
Well,
That's
it's actually, that makes sense too, because like even when you do the real estate exam, the things you learn in the real estate exam, I always tell agents, I said, just know them. You don't have to understand them, just know them to pass the test. Because until you're out in the field, there's no experience, and now it's reading from a book.
But at least you got a 2-year apprentice type program in the real estate world. We don't have any apprentice program in the.
What do you mean?
Well, you can't be a managing broker or get a managing broker license until you work under somebody else for 2 years.
Yeah, technically that is true.
So I know they don't use the word
However, I would
apprentice.
never, ever be a managing broker. And it's not just because of the test. It's because of the fact that there's
No, but you do coach
so
other people
much more.
quite a bit.
Yeah, I coach, mentor, teach. I love that, though. And that's something very different than being a managing broker, in my opinion. And more importantly, it's just so much more work to be a managing broker. So much more overhead, so much more. There's a lot more. You might as well just own the company. Because it's a lot.
It is a lot
I'm
of
not
work.
saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying, like, for me, that's not a good, that would never be a good fit for me.
Does that exist in mortgage world, Joey? Where somebody has to work under a senior mortgage person first, or can you get your license and booyah?
No, you can do both, right? The only way I'm going to bring on someone brand new to the business is if they're going to be a junior banker to me, junior LO to me, or to my sales manager. One of those two people is going to be in charge of your loans until you understand what you're doing. I'm not going to let you fail, but I'm also not going to let you throw poo-poo at a wall, right? So I like to protect guys if I'm bringing them on, and it is a lot more work, which is why I hired a sales manager. To make sure that my name and my reputation of what I've built doesn't go to poo, right? Mm-hmm. It's unacceptable. It's a lot more work, but I also believe that helping more people is worth it. So I'll suck it up while I grow people into being not crappy bankers.
Well,
I do the same thing.
That and the fact of knowing that they're learning the right way instead of the wrong.
Yeah. Oh
because,
my gosh. Yeah.
Man, is it easy to learn the wrong way.
Right way or wrong way, you're learning my way.
Right.
You know, I don't know if it's right or wrong. I'm not gonna. Yeah.
Well, you better hope you're right then.
Well, it's working. You know, it's working. But no, I do the same thing. It's just, you know, to be a home inspector, I tell people all the time, it's 60 hours of watching YouTube videos, and you get 70% on a multiple choice test. All right, 70%. And you could be a state licensed home inspector, you know. And my question always is, what 30% do I not need to know, you know, when it comes to building science? Isn't it?
That's so scary.
Oh my God.
Isn't it?
Real estate.
So silly?
Real estate's so different. Like, you got to get. I think it's 75% on the national and the state. And the fact is that in the world of real estate, helping someone buy or sell a home is so different than actually inspecting the house to make sure it doesn't blow up. Like,
Well, it's more than just blow up.
I know, but you know what I'm saying?
It's
like,
people's money.
I mean, it's a lot. It's 100%. And it's the same thing as like getting the right loan officer.
Yes.
Like
and I see people get harmed financially from getting the wrong loan officer.
so have I. So have I.
And this is why I'm trying to dig out, how do I make sure I don't get the wrong loan officer as a buyer or seller? You know, or real
or
estate,
the wrong realtor
or inspector,
realtor. Yeah.
or attorney,
Yeah.
or whatever. Because there's a lot of people that are involved in our trades.
Well, for instance, it's word of mouth. It's also the fact of the transaction.
It's a triangle of trust.
Yeah, triangle trust.
It's
It's
true.
a perfect way of saying it. Triangle of trust. Do you know what the triangle of trust is?
I don't know.
Charlie.
My mind's in the gutter right now.
Let's go. Oh, come on, Charlie.
What?
Get out of here.
What?
Wow.
Sorry,
All
no,
right,
I don't know
Steven.
what it means.
Get
What,
after it.
triangle of trust.
How can I? How's that even a gutter?
Because I'm not a good person.
Oh,
That's why. So tell me
Get
what
out
the
of the
triangle.
firehouse, sir.
I'm not yet. That firehouse humor's got to go. What is the triangular trust? I really don't know.
all right. Go ahead, Joey.
All right, so long story short is, well, I trust you, and this is the person you trust, so I inherently trust that person. So you just completed your triangle of trust,
Boom.
Yeah.
right?
Okay,
So
I got
it's-
that.
That's
It's
so
essentially
much
the
better than
referral,
way I
right?
would have explained it.
But yeah,
I
and,
try to keep it simple. You know?
That was very simple. That was perfect.
but there's a lot of people
Yeah.
that are pretty flippant about that too. You know,
No,
like,
it-
and that's the other thing that I say. You know, like we were asking before about picking the right real estate agents and asking the tough questions. Here's the tough questions I would ask.
Go ahead.
You know, can you provide me the list of people that you refer business to?
100%.
All right. So you're going to give me your mortgage person. You're going to give me your home inspector. You're going to give me
I'm
your
going to be a
attorney.
resource. In
You're going to be my
every
research.
aspect.
But this is me interviewing you.
Okay.
Then I'm going to take those people that you gave me and I'm going to look up their reviews.
Sure.
I'm going to see, why do you refer business to them? Do they get complaints from their clients, or are they happy, or are their clients happy with them? Because if you're referring somebody to me that's getting negative reviews from their past clients, you're out. And
Yes
that's
and
that
no.
triangle of trust
Yes,
to me.
yes and no, though, because
know?
here's the thing: when you look at the reviews,
Yeah.
it could say things like that have nothing to do with, maybe they just didn't appreciate one
case
little
by
thing.
case.
Like Joey was out of town and wasn't able to answer the phone within an hour, and I got really irritated. Where he has a thing on there that says, "I was in a plane and I couldn't get to you within 2 hours, so my apologies." But you were upset because I was on a plane and I couldn't get back to you. It's like, really? Right? Or, oh, I called Steve on a Sunday and he didn't get back to me until Monday. Well, Steve doesn't work on Sundays, right? So now, is there exceptions? Yes. But
Right.
my point is like there are situations that would say, well, that doesn't make them a bad realtor. That doesn't make them a bad mortgage broker.
No, but
Right?
if you don't value your reputation based on the people that you refer to me, that's important.
Absolutely. But how about the fact of when you research a toy and it says the reviews and you look at the bad reviews, because you don't care about the good reviews. You only care about the bad reviews, right? And the
That's
bad
true.
reviews is, oh, well, it was yellow and I wanted red and they only sent me a yellow one.
Okay.
What?
Yeah. And again, it goes back to human beings making mistakes. I don't care about the mistakes that people make. All right. What I care about is how you handle those mistakes.
Absolutely.
So when I
100%.
see those negative reviews, I want to see a response from that person. And
Sure.
if it's professional and empathetic and it's like, okay, and I don't know if this is my generation or what. If you made a mistake, just own up to the mistake, and apologize for it and move on. I'm cool with that.
You fall on your own sword. And the thing is like we were talking about this earlier, Joey, I know you'd say the same thing, is if Joey's junior partner screwed up, Joey screwed up.
Yeah.
Even though
You just got to eat it.
Joey didn't do it, but his junior partner did, and junior partner works for Joey.
You
Same
guys were
thing.
talking about answering phones and stuff like that in a timely manner. Is this improper behavior on my part? Somebody calls me up at 10:40 at night and I'm sleeping and, but obviously it's got to be important if you're going to call me at 10:40 at night and I wake up at 4 in the morning. I think I should call you back right away. Is that wrong of me? Is that mean? Or that's probably a little on the vindictive side, isn't it?
I think it's when you start your day, and then you realize that person called you at 10:30 at night,
Yeah.
and clearly they didn't call you 17 times, so it wasn't your family, right? And it's it's not a medical emergency. I now have a leak in my house, and I don't understand why. And I thought you checked this. Whatever.
No,
You know
it
what I mean?
wasn't that.
I
It
don't
was
know.
somebody wanting to hire us and stuff like that. And I'm like, yeah,
At 10:30 at night,
At
you didn't answer the
10:30 at
phone, so
night.
they went with someone else.
I don't care if they went with
Whatever,
someone
that's
else. I made them
ridiculous.
go with someone else when I
Yeah.
called them back at 4 in the morning.
Well, that's
Sorry,
like,
I got a little sidetracked. That's
like-
my short-term memory.
that's like saying I'm
Pain
not going to
pills.
hire Joey because he has a Cybertruck and I don't believe in Elon Musk.
I'm
and I
not
think
going to
it's
hire
terrible.
Joey because he has a Cybertruck. That's the truth.
Well, you know, poor Joey. Joey, you should get rid of that car.
No, not at all. Honestly, of course, I'm being a sarcastic
I'm a little
jerk.
jealous. Have you seen those screens in that thing? Those things are cool.
They are cool. The inside's even
I
better.
mean,
Yeah.
it does look like the top of a wastebasket, but other than that, it's a pretty cool, like, you know.
Hey,
I mean,
if
it's
you're
electric,
looking-
and that man saves more money than I do an entire year, probably within a month. So
How much have I paid?
I was gonna say, what is it?
Let's do it.
How much does electric cost?
I
Is that like a
am
quarter
at
of gas or what?
10,500 miles and 7 months. I got the car, right?
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find.
Man, we are all over the
what
board. I love
paid
it.
real
I have
quick.
a screen in front of me that says I can't do math well, and I don't know if that was from me.
I paid
Did you put that on there?
$700 so far in
$700 with how many miles?
10,500.
Yeah.
He wins a little bit.
Yeah, my
Just a little bit. Same with your car.
same. Yeah, my electric bill went up $50 a month, and I put about 1,000 miles a month on.
Wow.
So, yeah, but I didn't get it for that reason. You know, I just like the car and I think it's cool.
$700
Yeah.
for 10,000 miles.
And not only that, but ever
10,500.
since I put the solar panels on the garage, now, you know, and we have 2 EVs now, so we got 2 electric vehicles that we're charging,
Oh,
and
you hippie.
and we're 30% less in our electric bill than what it was a year ago. All right.
I got to buy a new house so I can have an electric car. Go ahead, what?
Pretty soon you're gonna see a F-150 Lightning wrapped in the VA loan nerd. Just so y'all know, it's
Nice.
driving around Chicagoland in the next couple months.
Oh yeah,
Yes, sir.
nice.
Is that Joey Olson or
No, that is my mom.
nice?
What?
Yes, sir.
Well,
Where's-
let me know where you get that wrap from, because I might want to wrap mine, because that's what I drive. You know,
I know you do. I know you do. So,
You
no, I
totally
will.
should. You should have wrapped your car. How come you haven't done that?
because my wife doesn't want to go out to dinner in my pickup truck when
I've
it's
heard
all wrapped
this.
as the VA loan nerd.
Oh my gosh. I
You
love
know,
Do your kids love jumping in the Cybertruck?
Dude, my kids love jumping in there, and then their friends love it, and therefore it becomes a topic of conversation at school, and therefore I end up with more leads.
Nice.
Yep.
Very smart
Yeah.
man you are over there.
The gift that keeps on giving.
wait a
baby.
minute. I think that's violation of child labor laws somehow. You know, are you
yeah.
I
paying
think
those
it's-
kids for
I
that
think it's
marketing?
genius.
I agree.
If he's the soccer mom and he drives that car,
I'm a cool soccer mom.
oh my God.
Tell
Not
you
even a
what.
cool soccer man. You're also a coach. You're also the soccer mom. I don't know where that one goes. You're also the VA loan guy, and everyone sees your car and goes, "Oh my God, who's that?" And then you're like, "Oh, he's awesome. Never mind." Like,
And he's a
that's-
hottie too.
and-
I mean, I'm going
I
guy
mean, a
to guy
soccer
here,
mom
so it's
with
okay.
with a Cybertruck. Phew, tell you what, if I wasn't married,
I'd be all over him.
Tell you what.
Yeah. No, I'd be on you, Joey. Okay, it looks like Devin. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
I knew our producer,
man.
Devin Tigger, would have something good to add in there, which is terrific. And how many little
No,
kids
guys,
can you
keep
fit
telling
in
me
that
how great
truck?
I am. Keep telling me how great I am. Come on.
Joey, did you hear what he just said?
Yeah, how many kids can you fit in the truck, you doggone weirdo? Well, it's not allowed anymore, but when I was young, we used to sit in the back of the pickup truck.
Are you kidding
We
me?
were still allowed to do that.
My mom
Oh
used to.
my
That's so.
When
Talk
I
about a
was
ping
young, we
pong.
used to sneak into the drive-in theaters in the trunks of cars.
Oh no! I drove the big.
I just got laughed
boat
at by the young kid here.
station wagon that had
Oh,
the
yeah.
we're talking now. I'm older than you, Joey, but we're talking. No, how old are you?
41.
Oh, never mind. Yeah,
Oh, you're older than me.
9 years old. I am. I'm older than you too.
I'm only 39.
So anyway, so the station wagon with the roll down, not electric, but the roll down back window. So we're talking like National Christmas, vacation, whatever type. Or no, actually, that was a different. That was
The Griswolds.
That was the Griswolds. No. We're talking about Griswold's
The first one.
European vacation, something like that. Green and yellow
No,
and
that
whatever
was the very
vehicle.
first one.
Was
Yeah,
that the
that's
first
when
one?
they went to Wally World.
Yeah, the Big Ben. No, that was European. So, but we used to drive that thing, and honestly, you were bouncing around like a ping pong ball in the back of it because there were no seat belts, and basically, mom's driving like a wreck, chain smoking in the front of the car. Like that's my brother and mine like favorite story of like how we were messed up as children, and that's just the beginning. So,
And people wonder why we're jumping all over subjects here today. We
well,
blame
I
it on
actually
our
have
parents.
ADD. I don't know about you.
You know,
I was diagnosed.
we blame it all on our parents where it comes in
I
there.
got the prescription to prove it.
Totally true. Serious. Anyway, with that being said, yeah, man, I think when it comes down to doing our jobs, we're either very good at them or we're not. And why people look to hire us versus other people, I think, is word of mouth. It's also reviews. It's also just
That's why our
getting to know them,
reputation, yeah.
trusting the triangle of trust. Very simple.
But I think that's why, you know, our professions really do, well, not you so much, Joey, but the real estate brokers and the home
Excluded.
inspectors, you know, as a profession, it's poor. Our reputation is poor,
Yep.
you know, and I just, I don't know how to correct it. I wish there was something that I could magically do to say, yeah, everybody needs to be protected in here.
You can keep referring people to good people. And you know you're doing what you need to do to be a good person and
Oh,
to
yeah.
take care of other people. Same thing as Joey, same thing as myself.
Yeah.
So the fact is that, you know what my favorite client is? My favorite client is a person that I can show that they can have an awesome transaction. Joey's got to be the same way. And the fact is that the ones that don't have a great transaction or don't have a great relationship with their client, you know, with their realtor, with their attorney, with their mortgage broker, right?
Yeah.
You say, hey, go to this person. Then they have a great experience, and then they tell all of their friends and everyone's, and that's what's important. So in our industry, in any industry, there's going to be good people, there's going to be great people, and there's going to be terrible people. Which one do you want? You're buying a house. It's your biggest asset in the world. You want a good realtor? You want a crappy realtor?
Well, I do value both of you guys. I want you to know that, and I think you're great. But we are running out of time right now. So, Steve, if you don't mind, wrap it up a little bit and give us your contact information. And please, if you have any questions, whether you're buying a house or not buying a house, you know, anything about real estate, write these numbers down. Reach out to these people. They'll coach you for free. Steve, please.
Sure. Steve Davis, Real Brokerage, Kamar Group. Been doing this for 18 years. I would be more than happy to sit down with anyone and talk with them, help them understand what's best for them and their family. My number is 312-513-6314, 312-513-6314. You can find me on Instagram at I'm Steve Davis and on Facebook.
Sounds good. Joey, please.
Yes, sir. Joey Mathews, the VA Loan Nerd. You can find me at thevaloannerd.com. Across all the social medias as at the VA Loan Nerd. You can call or text me at 630-235-2405. And I'm happy to show you why mortgages can be fun.
I love you, man. That's awesome. My name is Charlie Bellefontaine. We own Chicagoland Home Inspectors. Our phone number is 312-544-9180. And you're going to have to tell them that you want to talk to Charlie, and they'll patch you right through to me. I want to give thanks to our producer here in the studio with us. His name is Devin Tingle, and he just makes everything operate so smooth from us. And, you know, buying a house is a big deal. All right. I do value the people that I surround myself with, and that triangle of trust, as you guys said, is very important to me. And I'm not gonna refer somebody that I don't trust, and is not gonna make me look good. So with that being said, again, my name is Charlie, and you've been listening to WCPT AM 820, and I am out.